He was a perfect student. He was quiet and polite, acing every test and living a simple life. Everyone respected him deeply. His life was going smoothly until a new boy, Sayu-chan, arrived at school. The teacher introduced him to the class. He was the national high school boxing champion. The entire class was shocked. But Sayu-chan's face turned pale as if he had seen a ghost. As soon as the teacher left, he began to assert his dominance. He started beating some of the stronger students to spread fear in the class. Then his eyes landed on Sayu-chan. The class president stepped in and tried to stop him, but he slapped her hard and pushed her aside. Sayu-chan begged with folded hands, asking him to stop, but the beating did not stop. In fact, he had been a cruel bully in middle school. That was why Sayu-chan was so terrified of him. He fell to the ground. Slowly, his eyes began to close. At that moment, he noticed a pen lying nearby. Without thinking, he reached for it. A spark appeared in his eyes. Seo was still smiling and said, "Come on, hit me if you dare." That moment became the final breaking point. Years of fear, anger, and humiliation exploded at once. He drove the pen straight into Seo-chan's eye. The entire class froze in shock. Seo-chan fell to the ground, screaming and clutching his eye. The injury was so severe that his eye was permanently damaged. Since this was not considered self-defense, he was sentenced to 3 years in juvenile detention. His mother broke down in tears. A bright student's future was destroyed in an instant, like a bubble bursting. He was taken to the detention center on a bus. At the back sat a man everyone avoided. His seat had already been taken by a stylish blonde boy, so he was forced to sit next to the frightening man. When the man looked at him, he trembled with fear. Upon arrival at the detention center, all belongings were taken, and they were given prison uniforms. The blonde boy from the bus, named Ol, tried to befriend him. He asked, "What are you in for?" He replied softly, "Attempted murder." Hearing this, Ol panicked and said, "Sorry, brother, I only took your seat as a joke. My case is somewhat similar." But later, it was revealed that Ol was just a petty thief. There were 2 experienced inmates in the detention center. Both had short haircuts and explained the rules. The strongest rules everything. Those who cannot fight should stay quiet and avoid attention. On one side was the leader, Sang-hab, a national judo champion with incredible skills. On the other side was Won-jun, a large and intimidating man who scared everyone with his presence. Then there was San-yong, the leader of the desert crew. He looked thin but could break a skull with a single kick. This detention center was a small reflection of the real world. It was like a jungle where everyone was fighting for power. Recently, Won-jun and San-yong, both top figures, made a fool of everyone. They staged a fake fight and claimed that Sang-hab, their rival, had stolen their cigarettes and attacked them. Because of this, Sang-hab was sent to solitary confinement. Now Won-jun and San-yong were moving freely, but there was one boy who did not belong to any group, and even the strongest feared him. His name was Do-han. He was the same dangerous man who had sat next to him on the bus. Do-han was not an ordinary prisoner. He was a Korean martial arts legend and had become the youngest MMI world champion. One day, after winning a gold medal, he left the ring and called his mother and sister. He happily said, "Party tonight," but when he returned home and opened the door, his world shattered. There was a birthday cake on the table, but blood was spread everywhere. Do-han searched the house and found his mother and sister lying lifeless, covered in blood. His sister's final voice still echoed in his ears. Suddenly, someone attacked from behind and tried to strangle him, but they had chosen the wrong target. Do-han flipped the attacker and broke his leg instantly. Seeing his mother's condition, his anger exploded. He crushed the second attacker's face without hesitation. A third attacker rushed in with a knife, but Do-han killed him as well. All 3 attackers died on the spot. Because of this, a case of intentional murder was filed against him. Back in the present, a football game was being played in the detention center. It quickly turned into a violent fight. 2 players were badly injured. Won-jun and Ol were brought in as replacements. After a while, during the chaos, the ball rolled near Won-jun. He accidentally struck someone directly in the crotch. Now he was in serious trouble. The opposing group grabbed him and dragged him into a corner. Old memories of violence and fear rushed back into his mind. Just then, he saw a familiar face. Do-han came running toward him. Like a drowning man, he begged for help. "Please help me," he said with desperate eyes. Do-han told the others to calm down and step back. An angry Won-jun shouted, "Don't act like a hero! You're a murderer too!" He charged at him in rage. Do-han easily dodged the attack and stepped back with control. Then he delivered a powerful punch. The second punch knocked Won-jun unconscious. Everyone watched in shock, as if a superhero had stepped into real life. But reality is not a movie. From that day on, Won-jun added him to his hit list. Meanwhile, Ol warned him quietly. He shook his head and said, "Apologize to him or you'll get into trouble." A few days later, a visitor came to meet him. His right eye was permanently blind. His studies had stopped. His boxing career was finished. He said, "I would rather die." He apologized, but Sayu-chan's eyes remained cold. "When you get out," he said angrily, "I will make your life a living hell." Boo's tearful pleas had no effect on him. He turned away without saying a word. Now, even inside the prison, he was troubled, while his enemy waited for him outside. He was filled with anxiety. He could not sleep. There was an unspoken rule in the prison. Every prisoner had to give a packet of milk each day to the most powerful man. As a sign of loyalty, loyalty, all gave the milk to Doohan, but when Doohan asked if something was wrong, all could not say anything. The next day he brought milk again, but Doohan refused. "Don't bring it again," he said. Gathering his courage, all followed him and said, "Teach me how to fight. I want to be as strong as you." Doohan refused immediately, thinking he wanted revenge, but all said, "I just want to live in peace. Earlier I only tried to hide because I was always beaten. I didn't know how to do anything. I thought I was weak and useless. I felt like I was born worthless, but now I don't want to run anymore." His sincere words touched Doohan. "I will teach you, but on one condition," he said. "Run 100 rounds in 40 minutes. Only then will your training begin." All, who was physically weak and used to studying, started struggling after just a few rounds. His breathing became heavy. His vision blurred and his legs began to shake. By the 50th round, he was completely exhausted. Using painful memories as fuel, he pushed himself to reach 70 rounds. Then he collapsed. He vomited and nearly gave up. At that moment, a horrifying memory returned. When he once refused to obey, Suchin humiliated him by forcing him to urinate in front of him and then made him lick it. With that memory burning inside him, he stood up again. 40 minutes had already passed, but his anger and pain kept him moving. Finally, he completed the last round and collapsed into Doohan's arms. Because of Doohan's connection with the warden, he was moved into Doohan's cell. Now, Doohan tested his physical strength. His condition was poor. He could only do 21 push-ups, 32 sit-ups, and 0 pull-ups. Doohan said, "From tomorrow, you must add one more repetition every day. Otherwise, you will be sent back to your old cell." Gathering all his strength, he somehow managed to do one weak pull-up. That was the beginning of his harsh training. At first, he would collapse after just a few push-ups. His punches and kicks had no power. But under Doohan's strict guidance, he trained every single day without fail. Slowly, his punches became stronger. His legs gained power. Doohan encouraged him to eat more, as food was also part of training. In the beginning, other prisoners laughed at him, but soon his muscles began to grow. His strength increased noticeably. Now, training also included getting hit. Every punch and every fall became a lesson. Gradually, the weak and frightened Seo-chan began turning into a fighter. He even trained at night. After throwing 1,000 punches, he turned around in exhaustion and saw Doohan asleep. "I'm done," he said quietly, but Doohan had not seen anything, so he started again from the beginning. Meanwhile, one day, Seo-chan was walking on the street. A car honked at him, but he did not move. The men inside started abusing him. In response, Seo-chan smashed the car window. 2 men stepped out of the car to teach him a lesson, but he attacked them and beat them badly. The gang leader, Woo Young, noticed him and offered him a place in the gang. Seo-chan cursed at him in response. Seeing his aggression, Woo Young slapped him to control the situation. "I will use your strength for something good," he said. "I will make you even stronger." Back in prison, Seo-chan continued to study and train. He would do squats even while working. All was surprised and asked, "Are you preparing to face Wonjun?" He replied, "No, I just don't want to be weak anymore." Then came bad news. Doohan was being transferred. Prisoners over the age of 23 were sent to an adult prison. Doohan calmly said, "Work harder now, time is short." That same day, Woo Young saw Seo-chan being beaten. He stepped in to help. The gang surrounded him. But he was no longer the weak boy from before. He used only the necessary force to protect his friend. Soon, Wonjun's men called him. He went to face Wonjun himself. He apologized, saying he had only acted to protect his friend. Wonjun said nothing. He suddenly threw a punch. Seo-chan dodged and tried to counter. Wonjun was extremely powerful. His punches felt like heavy hammers. He knocked Seo-chan to the ground. But Seo-chan did not give up. He stood back up and kept fighting. A kick to the head failed to stop Wonjun. Wonjun continued attacking and landed strong blows on his face. Everyone thought Seo-chan was finished, but he stood up again. He took another hit and then delivered a powerful headbutt. Wonjun staggered and fell. Seo-chan followed up with a series of punches. All the pain he had suffered came rushing back in that moment. Just then, Doohan arrived. His eyes seemed to say, "Do not follow my path." Meanwhile, Seo-chan had become a ruthless mercenary. He was now working as Won-young's right-hand man. Seo-chan had defeated Wonjun, but he did not stop there. Under Doohan's guidance, he continued to grow stronger. He kept training without rest. One day, he was given a proper meal and a chance to spar with Doohan, but he held back his strength. Doohan became angry and said, "Use your full strength. Fight me properly or you will lose." In the next round, Seo-chan's fist stopped just inches from Doohan's face. Doohan said, "Do not hesitate. The moment you think you are winning and lower your guard, you will lose. Do you understand? This is our last session." Doohan was now leaving for an adult prison. He said, "Your greatest strength is yourself. You can endure anything." Then he added, "Do you know about sharks? They do not have air sacs to float. If they stop moving, they die. You must live like a shark. shark. Never stop. Their farewell had no hugs and no tears, just a small smile, but it left a deep emptiness in Seo-chan's heart. Even without Duhan, Seo-chan continued training every day. He pushed himself harder with each passing day, like a small shark learning to survive. A recently released prisoner began working under him. He proudly claimed that Duhan had turned Seo-chan into a shark. Now, Seo-chan's face carried a quiet and mysterious calm. He simply smiled and gestured for him to continue. Back in prison, before he could fully process Duhan's departure, a new challenge appeared. Seo-chan was challenged to a fight. The wager was simple. The loser would serve the rest of his sentence under the winner. Seo-hun did not care about his own situation. He agreed to the fight on one condition. San-young had to stop harassing weaker inmates. San-young refused and gave him a warning kick. When Woo-sol returned to his old cell block, he met Song-hyo, who had just come back from solitary confinement. "You're trying to take my place," Song-hyo challenged him. Woo-sol calmly replied, "I'm not interested." Hearing this, Song-hyo was shocked. "But I heard you're obsessed with fighting," he said under his breath. 5 days passed quickly. The fight between Woo-sol and San-young was about to happen. The atmosphere in the prison became tense. Meanwhile, Seo-chan came to meet Woo-sol to threaten him. He broke one of his companion's fingers like it was nothing. "You're training, right?" he said mockingly. But this time Woo-sol was not afraid. He did not flinch or look away. San-young realized that fear would not work on him anymore, so he began provoking Song-hyo instead. Unexpectedly, Song-hyo responded calmly. "What's the point of fighting all the time? Even if someone was weak before, it doesn't mean they will stay weak forever." Before he could finish, Woo-sol arrived. His eyes showed cold determination. Without wasting a second, San-young attacked with speed. His kicks came fast and powerful, but Woo-sol caught one of his kicks and knocked him down. He jumped on him and started throwing punches. San-young fought back and knocked Woo-sol to the ground. He kicked him hard in the face. Everyone thought the fight was over, but Woo-sol stood up again, barely holding himself together. He was not the most skilled fighter, but his spirit was unbreakable. He blocked another kick and struck San-young's jaw repeatedly. San-young cried out in pain. Then Woo-sol jumped forward and locked him in a chokehold. He wrapped his legs tightly around him, leaving no chance to escape. The spectators feared he might kill him. Just then, a guard arrived and pulled them apart. Woo-sol was immediately sent to solitary confinement. Even there, he continued training, because he knew the real fight was still ahead. After this fight, the powerful inmates realized something. Woo-sol was no longer weak. He was becoming dangerous. No one wanted to provoke him anymore. Gradually, the fights inside the prison stopped. A strange peace settled over the place. People began to respect Woo-sol. Everyone had expected him to lose, but he had fought back and proved himself. "You're truly strong," others admitted. Even Woo-sol and Won-jun began to get along, bonded by the hardships they had faced. Because of his good behavior, Woo-sol was granted early release. Before leaving, he asked the warden for permission to visit the training ground where he had trained with Duhan. He went there quietly, thanked his mentor in his heart, and remembered those unforgettable days. Holding his old school uniform, he prepared to leave his past behind. But just as he stepped out, his old enemy, Seo-chan, appeared in front of him. The long-awaited showdown finally began. From the very start, he was hitting Seol like a punching bag. Seo-chan was no longer just a school bully. He had become an experienced street fighter. He kept attacking while taunting Seol. He reminded him of the insults toward his mother and how she had begged for mercy. When Seol finally landed a punch, Seo-chan was shocked. Seol followed up with punches and knees, and then threw a powerful blow. As he fell, he remembered Duhan's words. "A shark never stops." His fighting spirit returned. He stood up and countered. Then he delivered a precise strike, a self-defense move taught by Duhan. It hit Seo-chan directly in his left eye. Seo-chan roared in anger and knocked him down again. Both of them were now completely exhausted. It turned into a battle of endurance. Seo-chan's aggression against Seol's determination. In the end, Seo-chan could not continue. He finally gave up. Seol quietly walked away. Seo-chan was left behind, burning with the pain of defeat. After recovering, Seol's first step was to visit Duhan in prison. Duhan was happy to see him, but Seol had a question. "Have you ever really seen a shark?" Duhan replied, "Yes, on TV." Seol said, "I went to an aquarium to see them. You told me sharks never stop moving even in their sleep, but I saw them resting. It felt strange." Duhan was surprised by this. Life outside prison had not been easy for Seol. It had been 3 months since his fight with Seo-chan. People who leave prison often face judgment and rejection. Seol and his old prison friends supported each other during this time. Seol continued his training every day. San-young started a pizza delivery business. Won-jun began working in construction while studying to continue his education. Sang-hab returned to his judo training. All of them were determined to move forward. They wanted to leave their past behind. Seol later shared good news with Duhan. He had found a job at a gym. The work was basic, but it provided food and a place to stay. He was working hard and continuing his training. He dreamed of becoming a fighter. He knew the path would be difficult, but like a shark, he refused to stop. Duhan was still concerned. Seol was young and inexperienced, and dangerous enemies like Seo-chan Chan still existed outside. Duhan advised him, "Do not let emotions control you. Keep working hard. I am with you." One day, while Seoul was cleaning the gym floor, a confident blonde fighter arrived. His fighting style was extremely aggressive. He fought as if he wanted to destroy anyone in front of him. All his sparring partners had already backed away in fear. Tired of waiting, the trainer pointed at Seoul. The fighter laughed and said, "You will be my practice partner. If you manage to beat a pro, maybe I will recommend you." As Seoul stepped into the ring, he avoided the fighter's first powerful attack. The trainers offered him protective gear, but he only took the gloves and refused everything else. The fighter became furious and launched a relentless attack. At first, Seoul focused only on defense and absorbed the attacks, but then he saw an opening and struck back. His punches were strong and the entire gym went silent. The fighter screamed in pain. He had an important match scheduled that same night. The gym owner became furious. He scolded Seoul and ordered Sang-woo to fire him immediately. In reality, the fighter Sang-woo competed in an illegal fighting ring known as Fog. These fights were streamed live on a private app. Only VIP members could join and place bets. The earlier matches had already ended. Sang-woo was supposed to be the main event, but his wrist was injured and he had disappeared. The staff panicked and informed the owner. An announcement was made soon after. A special fighter would replace Sang-woo. All previous bets were canceled. A new offer was announced. Anyone placing a bet would receive 10 times the amount, no matter the result. The giant opponent who was supposed to fight Sang-woo became nervous. He had no idea who his new opponent would be. Then the mystery fighter entered the arena. It was Won Young, the real mastermind behind Fog and the same man who had recruited Seo Chan. Everyone was shocked to hear his name. To make things fair, a new rule was set. If the giant fighter could last for 30 seconds, he would win. Even then, most people placed their bets on Won Young. Won Young stepped into the ring and calmly said, "Don't worry, I will clear all your debts." The fight began. He delivered a heavy punch to the ribs. Then came 2 spinning kicks to the face. Finally, a crushing punch like a hammer. The opponent collapsed within 10 seconds, but Won Young did not stop. He said there were still 20 seconds remaining. The next morning, Won Jun was seen returning money to an injured man. Before going to prison, Won Jun had worked as a debt collector. He had once harassed a man so badly that the man jumped from a building and broke his leg. Won Jun deeply regretted his actions, but he could not undo the past. That same day, Woo Sol met his old prison friends. Song Hyo could not attend. Won Jun was still feeling low, but Woo Sol's positive attitude lifted his mood a little. San Young and Woo Sol started arguing. Woo Sol often ate pizza at San Young's shop without paying. During the argument, San Young mentioned that Woo Sol's younger sister was very beautiful. Then both of them asked Woo Sol, "Who is more handsome?" Woo Sol gave a balanced answer. "You both look good in your own way." Just then, Woo Sol suddenly felt a headache. At that moment, his childhood friend Ji-hee arrived. She was also his tutor. She quickly finished her drink in one go. The 4 friends shared a cheerful moment together. They raised a toast and laughed. San Young noticed Woo Sol looking at Ji-hee with affection. Suddenly, Won Young stopped his car outside. He stepped out angrily, crossed the street, and entered San Young's pizza shop. Looking directly at Woo Sol, he said, "Fight me." Then the story shifts to 3 hours earlier. Won Young had ordered his men to bring Sang-woo, his girlfriend, and his manager to a large vehicle. By the time Won Young arrived, all 3 of them were already on their knees. Fear and injuries were clearly visible on their faces. Sang-woo was trembling in fear. Won Young asked, "I heard you ran away from the fight because of a wrist injury. Who caused it?" Sang-woo hesitated and replied, "A cleaner." Won Young frowned and said, "A cleaner is not a fighter." Then he calmly added, "Don't worry, the fight will still happen tonight." Sang-woo felt relieved and promised it would not happen again. But Won Young's expression turned cold. "There will be no next time," he said. He then looked at Sang-woo's girlfriend and his manager. "If you had to trust someone with your life, who would you choose?" Sang-woo pointed to his manager. "He is like a brother to me," he said. "He is actually my cousin." The manager began to shake with fear. Won Young said, "If you stay silent for 10 seconds, I will spare your cousin." But before he could even finish, the manager started screaming. Sang-woo, terrified, begged for mercy. But in the end, all 3 of them were thrown into the sea. Later, Won Young's men reported something important. The person who injured Sang-woo was the same cleaner who had damaged Seo Chan's eye. Won Young also learned about Seo Chan's failed attempt at revenge in prison. Seo Chan immediately went to Won Young. "Let me fight him," he demanded. Won Young had no idea what kind of chaos he was about to unleash. Meanwhile, Ji-hee was returning home from work. Woo Sol called her and said, "Message me when you reach home." She laughed and replied, "You sound like my boyfriend." At that moment, a pregnant woman dropped her bag. Ji-hee quickly ran to help her. At the woman's request, Ji-hee carried the bag to her car. Suddenly, the situation changed. A deep voice called out, "Are you Ji-hee?" Before she could react, a man covered her mouth and forced her into a van. The van had a mental hospital sign on it. Meanwhile, at the gym, which was closed that day, Won Jun and San Young arrived. Won Jun said, "He has changed a lot. Because of him, we are trying to live honestly now." Inside the van, the woman removed her fake pregnancy belly. She ordered her partner to tie Ji-hee's hands and feet. Ji-hee quickly grabbed a fire extinguisher and hit the man in the face. She tried to run toward the door, but the woman kicked her back inside. After training, Woo Sol came outside and saw Won Jun and San Young waiting. "What are you doing here?" he asked. asked. San-young replied dramatically, "My business is ruined." Won-jun joked, "Don't call yourself unlucky." Soon, Song-hyo also arrived and started asking about the business. Everyone laughed and joked together. Suddenly, Woo-sol received a video call from Ji-hee. He answered immediately, but instead of seeing her clearly, he only heard her screams and sounds of struggle. He tried calling again, but there was no response. At that moment, he remembered Won-young's words, "I am the one who pays Seo-chan. If you work for me, you will get money and fame. Only I can take someone like you to the top." But Woo-sol had refused. "I am not interested," he had said. "I am not like Seo-chan. I will choose my own path." At that moment, Woo-sol realized that Won-young was behind Ji-hee's kidnapping. He immediately started running, but Won-jun stopped him. "Calm down. If you go alone, you will get trapped," he warned. San-young called the police, but the police said they needed more information. Just then, a message appeared on Woo-sol's phone. The four friends quickly got into San-young's old delivery van and rushed to the location. They searched in different directions, but Ji-hee was nowhere to be found. Then Woo-sol noticed her keys lying in the mud. He immediately called her phone. A faint ringtone echoed from inside an abandoned building. Without thinking, he ran toward it. Inside, two strong men were holding Ji-hee. One of them was the same man he had hit earlier in the van. As the man stepped forward to take revenge, Woo-sol rushed in. He knocked both of them out with a powerful punch and kick. He quickly untied Ji-hee, but Ji-hee urgently told him to run. He did not understand why. Suddenly, several thugs stormed in, carrying sticks and iron rods. The woman with the fake belly walked in behind them. They were trapped. Laughing, she called Won-young and said, "We have Woo-sol. 3 out of 4 are here. The other 2 are missing." Won-young replied calmly, "3 are enough." Woo-sol and his friends were blindfolded and thrown into a van. San-young and Sang-hab saw this and chased after them, but the van escaped. Inside the van, they were repeatedly electrocuted until they lost consciousness. When Woo-sol woke up, he found himself tied to a chair. Won-young was standing in front of him. "Where are my friends?" Woo-sol asked angrily. Won-young ignored the question and spoke calmly. "Are you okay?" he said, pretending to care. Woo-sol lost his patience. "I don't care about myself. Tell me where my friends are." Won-young held a knife against his neck. "Do you know how children are turned into soldiers in some places?" he said. "They are blindfolded and given a gun. Then they are told to shoot someone. When the blindfold is removed and they see blood and bodies, fear stays with them forever." He pointed toward 2 people tied behind him. "Now imagine you are that child. Decide who will die. Whoever you choose will die. The other one will live. Or if that is too hard, decide who you want to save." Woo-sol pleaded desperately. "They have nothing to do with this. Please let them go." He kept begging and apologizing. Won-young became irritated. "You are ruining all my fun!" he said angrily. Just then, his phone rang. He handed Woo-sol over to his assistant, the woman in the yellow suit. "If he tries anything, kill both of them," he ordered before leaving. The woman mocked Woo-sol and told her men to record everything. She gave him 10 seconds to decide and started the timer. Woo-sol struggled desperately to break free. He even fell to the ground, but he could not escape. Ji-hee cried out, "If you don't choose, we will both die!" Woo-sol was in agony. "What should I do?" he said, helpless. "I don't know what to do." The timer reached 0. Without hesitation, the woman stabbed Won-jun in the stomach. "Remember this moment," she said coldly. She raised the knife again. But the first strike accidentally cut Won-jun's ropes. He quickly grabbed the knife and pushed her to the ground. Her partner attacked him, but Won-jun handled him swiftly. The woman tried to attack again, but Won-jun took the knife and knocked her unconscious with a single punch. He immediately freed Ji-hee and Woo-sol. "A small knife cannot stop me," he said with a faint smile. The 3 of them ran through the maze-like building. They avoided guards at every turn. Soon, the woman in the yellow suit regained consciousness. She raised the alarm and shouted, "If you don't bring them back, none of you will survive." They were quickly surrounded by thugs. Woo-sol and Won-jun fought fiercely, but they were outnumbered and slowly getting exhausted. Won-jun was stabbed repeatedly in the stomach. Woo-sol was grabbed and choked from behind. At the right moment, Ji-hee stepped in and helped shift the fight, but escaping was still difficult. Another group of thugs arrived. Wounded, Won-jun looked at Woo-sol and said, "Take Ji-hee and run. I will hold them off." He picked up an iron pipe and prepared for one last stand. Woo-sol and Ji-hee ran toward the basement, but even there, more enemies were waiting. Just then, San-young and Sang-hab arrived and quickly took down the attackers. Woo-sol rushed back to find Won-jun. He saw that Won-jun had defeated everyone on his own. "You guys came late," Won-jun said with a weak smile, "but I still had some strength left." They all got into the van and broke through the surrounding enemies. Only then did they realize how badly Won-jun was injured. He was losing a lot of blood. He took out a notebook. Inside it was a list of 31 people he wanted to apologize to. "Make sure they all receive my apology," he said in a trembling voice. "I'm sorry, Woo-sol, I didn't want to die like this." He took his last breath in Woo-sol's arms. Woo-sol stood in front of Won-jun's photo, blaming himself. Suddenly, a girl ran toward him and slapped him hard. "You are Woo-sol!" she cried. "Where were you when my brother died? Why is he gone and you are still alive? Bring him back." She was Won-jun's younger sister, Yan-jin. Hearing her words, Woo-sol fell to his knees. He begged for forgiveness. No one needed to accuse him. He was already blaming himself deeply. Yan-jin kept crying in front of her brother's photo. Woo-sol could not forgive himself. "I should not have refused," he said. "I should have worked for them. If I had, he would still be alive. I am the reason he died. I should have died instead," Sanyang shouted angrily. "It is not your fault." But the weight of guilt remained heavy on Woo-sol. "You were the first person who made him feel human," she said. "You were the one who inspired him to study for the GED. How can he rest in peace if you keep blaming yourself?" Yanjin listened silently. For the first time, she began to understand the bond between Woo-sol and her brother. Meanwhile, Ji-hee was talking to her mother when she accidentally bumped into a man with a large scar on his face. She became suspicious and decided to follow him. The man met a detective who was handling Won-jun's case. He threatened him and forced him to contact Won-jun's close associate. They planned to shift the blame onto someone else in exchange for money. Ji-hee immediately reported everything to Sanyang and Sanghab. It became clear that even the police were involved in Won-jun's corruption. Just then, a condolence wreath arrived from Won-yang with a message of sympathy. Enraged, Sanyang destroyed it. "Forget the police. From now on, we handle this ourselves." He decided to go after Won-jun immediately, but Sanghab stopped him. Their argument grew intense until Ji-hee shouted at them to calm down. Woo-sol opened Won-jun's notebook and looked at the last page. It read, "My strong and reliable friend Woo-sol, let's be friends for life." Rain began to fall, as if the sky itself was grieving. Woo-sol clenched his fist and whispered, "Goodbye, my friend." Now he was ready for revenge, but this time with a plan. Suddenly, Yanjin expressed her wish to join them. To prove herself, she had to pass a test. She defeated all three men on her own without much effort. Her strength surprised everyone. Then she stared at Won-jun's photo. Their expressions hardened with determination. They swore, "No matter what happens, we will not stop." Their first goal was to gather evidence. Ji-hee remembered that the woman had been recording everything. There had to be a hidden copy somewhere. Yanjin suggested disguising themselves as delivery workers and infiltrating Won-yang's headquarters. Sanyang prepared a package fitted with hidden cameras and addressed it to the broadcasting room. Security was tight, so they attached Won-yang's visiting card, which he had previously given to Woo-sol. The guards assumed it was a delivery for their boss and allowed it inside without checking. The team monitored the live camera feed and studied the building layout carefully. The package reached the broadcasting room, where a technician wearing glasses was managing the live stream. He felt suspicious but did not dare open the boss's package. Once they confirmed the target location, the plan moved forward. Sanyang drove a van straight into the building as a diversion. The impact broke through the outer barrier and triggered chaos. As expected, guards spotted the van on CCTV and went to investigate, but the vehicle was completely empty. Suddenly, a microwave device hidden inside exploded, setting off the fire alarm. The mission was a success. The team had already infiltrated the building. They split into two groups, Woo-sol with Sanghab and Sanyang with Yanjin. One team focused on absorbing attacks while the other concentrated on taking down enemies. Speed was the key factor. The thugs were too strong for the four of them and were gradually being overwhelmed. Woo-sol went ahead to locate the broadcasting room while the others cleared the path. Enemies kept appearing, but they held their ground. Woo-sol quickly found the broadcasting room. He captured the technician and forced him to unlock the system files. However, the recording folder for that day was empty. Unaware, Woo-sol watched the security monitors with a calm, satisfied expression. Everything was going exactly as planned. He sent the woman in yellow along with her men to investigate the situation. When Woo-sol returned, most of the guards had already been defeated by his team. Then he played the footage from earlier that day. It showed Woo-jun begging for mercy, and the moment the woman stabbed him, the team's anger boiled over. At that moment, the woman in yellow arrived with her men. "Do you like being on camera?" she mocked. "If you want more footage, come and get it," she said, pointing toward the elevator. Her men stepped aside and allowed Woo-sol to pass. Without hesitation, Woo-sol entered the elevator. He already understood her intention. After Woo-sol left, Kanan ordered his men to secure the parking area. The scarred man and the pale woman handled the intruders inside. Yanjin immediately recognized the woman. She was the one who had killed her brother. Filled with rage, Yanjin struck her hard and broke her nose. Sanbang confronted Kanan, while Sanyang engaged in a fierce fight with the scarred man. Meanwhile, Woo-sol removed his wristbands. His eyes burned with determination, ready for a brutal confrontation. Finally, Woo-sol and Won-yang stood face to face. Won-yang gave him two choices. Either leave with the USB containing the evidence evidence or take revenge for Wu Jun's death. Woo-Sol reached for the USB, but Wan Yang was not willing to let him take it easily. Whose turn is it now? He mocked. Family or friends? What matters more to you? Why are you doing this? Woo-Sol asked. Because it's entertaining, Wan Yang replied with a laugh. Woo-Sol attacked, but Wan Yang was far more skilled. At first, he toyed with Woo-Sol, but soon his attacks became deadly. Downstairs, the battle grew even more brutal. The woman stabbed Yanjin in the face. In a rage, Yanjin grabbed her and slammed her head repeatedly into the ground. Then he finished her off with a powerful punch, knocking her unconscious. Elsewhere, the two massive fighters clashed in a brutal fight. The scarred man managed to break Wan Yang's leg. Upstairs, Wan Yang continued overpowering Woo-Sol, mocking him by replaying the video while drinking wine. Woo-Sol began to lose hope, but then he remembered Wan Jun's words, "This is all you have." His spirit reignited. He knocked Wan Yang down and unleashed a barrage of punches. He tried to break Wan Yang's leg but was stopped. Wan Yang charged again, but Woo-Sol threw him through the glass wall. Yanjin reached the upper floor and together with San Yang confronted the scarred man, but he was far too strong. He broke Yanjin's arm. San Yang locked him in a chokehold, giving Yanjin the opening to finish him. Sanghab managed to knock out Kanan as well. Despite their injuries, the three friends had won. Above them, Wan Yang and Woo-Sol were both exhausted, yet neither was willing to give up. Woo-Sol grabbed Wan Yang's arm and broke it. Wan Yang screamed in pain like an animal and tried to throw Woo-Sol out of the window. Woo-Sol caught the edge of the structure as Wan Yang dangled dangerously. With all his strength, Woo-Sol pulled him back inside. "It's over for me," Wan Yang said weakly. Woo-Sol had come for revenge, but he refused to become a killer. "You'll regret saving me," Wan Yang muttered. "I'm not like you," Woo-Sol replied coldly. He turned and walked away. Wan Yang whispered, "I lost." Shortly after, Wan Yang was arrested for his role in illegal gambling and in Wu Jun's death, and apologized to them one by one. Some forgave him, others did not, but he fulfilled Wu Jun's final wish. At the very end of the list, his own name was written. "I forgive Wu Jun," he whispered. "I forgave you a long time ago." He had already let go of his resentment. Just then, his friends arrived with smiles on their faces. It was finally over. Woo-Sol visited Duhan in prison. "Now I understand what I want," he said. "Every time I throw a punch, I feel alive. I love fighting. From now on, I will fight for myself, not because I have to survive. I want to become a fighter like you, and one day, I want to fight you. If you want to beat me, you'll have to train twice as hard." Duhan smiled in response. Sometime later, the World MMA Rookie Championship was announced. Woo-Sol and his friends dreamed of competing in it, just like Wu Jun once did. Woo-Sol said, "Even though I know I may not be forgiven, I will still apologize. We cannot have everything in life, but we must still try. I am no longer fighting just to survive. I am fighting to truly live." The scene shifted to a prison cell. Woo-Sol sat on the lower bunk, staring at the wall. This same cell once belonged to Duhan. The former king of the prison was now just another inmate. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and share it.